guys, it's going to be a great episode today.
It's going to be a very cold episode.
Ja, dat is wel.
Lang deze uitzending gaat duren.
Oh, Bas. Maar dit is geen media.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the last episode of 3hiwrps2ep19 for this season of 2024. A short and sharp show tonight for us. Fortunately, we have no Eric tonight, which, as you saw in the last show, it was a bit of a mess. But Eric is away on holiday, enjoying Portuguese beach, as you can see there. It looks a bit empty, just like the Duke's trophy cabinet, but we won't go too much into that tonight. But joining me tonight, ladies and gents, is my sidekick, Wijnand Breytenbach. Welcome back, Wijnand.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the dig at the Dukes. Yeah, it was...
oh, you gave it to me at the beginning.
Don't tell everybody, but...
You gave me the content.
Ja, mooi weekend van rugby. Helaas voor de Dukes en ondersteuners. Kan mij niks dit jaar laten zien.
Unfortunate. But guys that have had a fantastic season, and welcome to the era klasse, RRC.
Dankjewel.
Here tonight, Wessel, the captain of RRC, and George, you play 8, I believe?
Yes, that's right.
RRC. Congratulations, man. Welcome to the era klasse.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so what a great, what a game. Eh? What an amazing game that you guys played. We're going to get into that a bit. We're also going to hear a little bit about your story and what your plans are going forward. First, we're going to touch on, obviously tonight we've got a bit of a split show. We've got Mitch McGahan from Wijnand joining us a little bit later, and Daan, the OG Mooi boy from Rugby Club Avoird, joining us in the second part of the show. And of course, we cannot forget Gil, who unfortunately his predictions were so wrong in the last game, and he's with us for the final show as promised. He definitely welcomed me a lot nicer to the club tonight, hey Wijnand?
Ik heb heel veel mensen verteld dit jaar, of aan het einde van het seizoen, dat het gooide als iets aan het broeien. So,
yeah, and it's definitely Daan's try.
Yeah.
I think he's been practicing that for what, 6 weeks, I believe, Mitch. But before, as we get into the show, firstly, Diok against the Dukes for the plate.
Ja,
just explain what's the plate? Like, what's the?
Ja, dat is voor. Interessant. Dus altijd even, en het begin het al altijd vertellen, finale is een finale, maar ja, helaas is het voor 7e en 8e. En
Did you get a trophy?
Je krijgt pleit.
Okay.
Een kleine bordje, wat gezegd, gefeliciteerd. Jullie is de trofee kampioenen. Helaas is het Diok. Ja.
Well, yeah, it must have been a nice day. Obviously, Lodi, last game at Diok. Diok obviously had ambitions of playing in the sort of the top 6, but you know, they fell, I think, 1 game short of that. But same with you as the Dukes, it was very close. I mean, if you had to look at the second part of the season, you'd probably think that, you know, top 6 was very, very reachable.
Ja, voor de Dukes zeker. Wij hadden heel veel ambitie, heel veel, hoe zal ik zeggen,
geld?
Menselijke kapitaal was en de club geïnvesteerd dit jaar. En helaas is wij niks om daarvoor te wijzen. Maar ja, dus de good old saying, een goede bouwjaar voor de Dukes. Wij zullen het zien voor volgend jaar. Ik denk dat is heel veel ambitie voor volgend jaar.
Yeah, look, I think you've got a cracking bunch of youth players coming through.
Yeah.
I mean, the potential at Rugby Club the Dukes is unbelievable. No one can doubt that. I think it's a question of just getting the right person in. As you said earlier, off camera, about culture and off-field stuff is really important here at the Dukes. Eh?
Nee, dat klopt. Dukes, Brabant, Den Bosch is echt een club met cultuur en zo. En ja, ik ga niet mijn vinger daarop zetten, maar dit jaar hebben wij heel veel commitment gemist. In de zin van op training een beetje vuil zijn. Maar het komt ook met een team wat jong is. En ja, laten wij dit naar volgend jaar te nemen.
Yeah, well, look, I think, just being in Dutch rugby for quite a while, I think the potential is huge, and I think that it can only get better for the Dukes. I mean, you don't expect the Dukes to be in the bottom 6. So, you know, the prediction for next season would be that you'd definitely be up there.
Ja, dat is zeker een verwachting om beter dan 8 te doen.
Yeah.
8e plaats.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
So the game ended with the Diok 32, the Dukes 26. High scoring game.
Ja, maar ik moet eerlijk zeggen, die ook eerste helft uit de blok uitgekomen alsof die jongens echt hier is om te winnen. Volgens mij was de halftime score ook 29-3 of zoiets, 23-7. 29-7 en uiteindelijk de Dukes de tweede helft heel wat beter gespeeld en zo, maar die ook neemt niks van hun weg. Die was echt het betere team op de dag. Heel goed voorbereiden, heel weinig fouten gemaakt, potverdikkie. Dit constant bal weggekikt, maar uiteindelijk de wedstrijd gewonnen. Nee,
well, unfortunately, we don't have any footage because when the Dukes lose, we don't seem to ever have footage.
Was toevallig de eerste try gescoord, is er de stream uitgevallen. Ja, toevallig.
Yeah, and Eric did make the comment of amateurs, but I think he's happy that he doesn't have to put the plate on the ceiling like the last one he won. But moving on, next season, when does pre-season start? Oh, we saw a couple of guys doing running already. Has pre-season started already?
Ja, nee, dat is nee. Pre-season begin volgens mij volgende maand al.
And you've been on the golf course already, so you're retired now, I believe, or is it official? Not official?
It's official. I'm becoming a dad in 2 months.
Congratulations.
Dank je wel. Ik is uiteindelijk toch besloten om er het einde van te maken. Ik heb nu wel een nieuwe passie, een nieuwe verslaving en dat is golf. Leuke verslaving. Ik zal niet zeggen goedkoop verslaving, maar het is wel iets om jouw hoofd van rugby af weg te nemen en om rugby te los.
Well, I think, mate, on behalf of everyone in Rugby Netherlands, all the clubs you've played from, thank you so much for everything you've done for the game. No, seriously, I think it's been... You've been a fantastic servant, and every club you've played for, just that smile you've got now is always the heart and soul of the party at the club, like most front rowers. So, man, we wish you all the best on the golf course. Just make sure Eric doesn't become the chairman of your local golf club, because...
then I'm stopping that.
Sorry, Eric. Tonight's bash Eric night, but... we just want to say thank you very much for everything. And obviously you're going to be here on the podcast. We'll still see a lot of you. And you're still at the academy, I believe.
Ja, maar ik help waar ik kan. Maar bedankt, Gerrit. Heel mooie woorden, maar ook echt emotioneel. Dank je.
Don't cry on TV. I've done it before. Ugly cry face doesn't work. Right, so moving on to, obviously, man, what a game we witnessed at Rugby Club at Gooi. The final between the I hope I get this right, the Eerste Klasse and the Future Klasse. For promotion to the Era Klasse, where RSA and Utrecht Studenten played out to 44-42. Extra time. How many minutes was that? 100 minutes?
100 minutes.
100 minutes of rugby. And it was back, it's the biggest crowd Goi's seen this year. And the most money I think they've taken over the bar. So thanks to you guys. We might have a good party at the end of the season. But guys, I'll start with you, George. Talk us a bit through the season at RSA. Like, what's been the highlights, or what's been the difference to last year to this year? I mean,
there's been a lot of differences. I mean, the big focus this year was culture, and like Gary Jeffries was brought in as kind of the director of rugby, and he's also taken on the head coaching role, but he's brought in a lot of kind of resources to have to coach the teams across the backs, forwards, also the seconds team as well. So that's been I guess the highlight for us is just having that resource in the last year, so that we can focus on the training, focus on I guess building the team, and connecting the guys. But it was it's been bloody good year. I think the season was 20 odd games. 22. One in a row.
So you haven't lost?
No, we lost one at the beginning to Amstelveen. But
22
since that game, it was...
The streak?
It was a good streak, yeah.
Well, coming to the Era Klasse, you hope you're going to keep the streak alive?
Let's hope so. We've got some work to do.
Good work. And then, I mean, obviously, Wessel, you've come through the RSA ranks, right?
Ja, ik ben begonnen toen ik 9 was bij ASC. En speelde nu al 13 jaar, met 1 tussenjaartje bij Amstelveen gespeeld. Omdat we van mijn leeftijdscategorie bij de jeugd daar toen geen team voor hadden. Maar voor de rest 13 jaar bij ASC gespeeld tot nu toe.
I think I've come across you before on some of the pitches and I think you're a very passionate player, very physical. But also as a captain, how proud of you of what's happened this year? Like, where does this sit in your career so far?
Ja, ongelooflijk. Dit gevoel is simpelweg niet te beschrijven. En als je al van jongs af aan het eerste team eigenlijk best wel moeite ziet hebben om soms in de eerste klasse zelfs te overleven eigenlijk. En dan dat je dan nu zelf spelend op dat veld en als captain je team naar de ereklasse weer kan leiden. Dat is het mooiste wat ik ooit heb meegemaakt.
Yeah, amazing man. I got chicken skin, man. That's amazing. Congratulations, and for a guy of such a young age, that's really cool. Man. So that's awesome. What does this mean for RSA?
Na al die tijd in de eerste klasse en onze eigen problemen hebben binnen de club, als het qua... Ik ga niet eens diep in, maar we hebben problemen gehad binnen de club en we zijn nu eindelijk op een goed genoeg en stabiel punt qua TC, Head of Rugby en gewoon iedereen die op zijn plek hoort waar die hoort te zijn. Dat we nu zelfverzekerd genoeg zijn om onszelf te ook buiten rugby, buiten op het veld, ook gewoon ons te kunnen overleven in de ereklasse. Yeah. Niet alleen qua rugbywijze, maar ook qua alles wat daar buiten komt kijken behind the scenes.
Yeah, and obviously Gary has got quite a lot of experience, been in the ereklasse before, if I'm correct, with Utrecht, Castricum, just to name a few. I don't know if there's any other, but yeah, he's obviously been there, done that. He's got the t-shirts. Obviously, you've got a guy who can, sort of lead you into that, and he has an idea of what's coming to you. What's your expectations of next season?
Onze verwachtingen zijn dat we kunnen competen met de bottom six. Dat is waar we voor gaan. En natuurlijk om te overleven, dat is de eerste stap. En vanaf daar opbouwen om uiteindelijk hopelijk weer in de top 6. En de droom is natuurlijk om met ASC eindelijk weer een keer de herenklasse misschien te kunnen winnen.
So, well, back to the days of Jos de Vries and the big boys. Mats Marker also played for ASC, didn't he?
Volgens mij wel.
Yeah, Bas de Nijl, some big names in Dutch rugby played for. I mean, RSA used to be the backbone of Dutch rugby.
Hey, en Wessel, hoeveel van de spelers gaan jullie dit jaar behouden? Is er al spelers wat weggaan? Is er al spelers wat stoppen? Hoe houden jullie de continuïteit?
We hebben natuurlijk seizoenen gehad omdat we vooral een expat gedreven club zijn. Zijn er seizoenen geweest dat je dan een harde stoot terugkrijgt omdat ze dan weer of terug naar huis gaan of ze gaan ergens anders wonen of wat dan ook. Maar dit jaar hebben we echt we houden 90% van onze spelers ongeveer. Tot nu toe hebben we volgens mij maar 2 eerste teamspelers die weer terug naar huis zijn gaan of die wat anders zijn gaan doen. Maar we hebben de meeste spelers die dit seizoen hebben gespeeld, die blijven voor volgend jaar ook. Dus daar zijn we heel erg blij mee.
Great, man. Fantastic. Yeah. And George, talk us a bit about how did you come into contact with RSA?
Well, initially moved to Amsterdam 2 years ago. Hadn't played rugby for a few years. Wanted to pick it back up. From New Zealand originally.
I was about to say, are you Australian?
No, close enough. But yeah, just initially moved to Amsterdam, wanted to meet some people. It was the closest located club. So yeah, reached out to them and went out for a training and enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Like every good Kiwi, rather be outside New Zealand than in it, huh? Yeah. Hey, Mitch? So you haven't met a Dutch girl yet? That's probably going to happen? Or
No, I got a partner at home.
In New Zealand?
In Amsterdam.
Oh, in Amsterdam. I was about to say in New Zealand. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you came with your missus from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh, great,
that's right.
man. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you work here now, everything?
Yeah, no, it's great working here, 2 years. 2 seasons with AAC. Nice. Loving it. Yeah.
Nice.
Wessel, jij was ook nu al, je is al 13 jaar bij de club. Als je nu moet kijken, de kwaliteit van trainingen en wedstrijden en zo, in vergelijking met de vorige jaren, wel omhoog?
Ja, mega verschil. Het valt echt niet te vergelijken. We hebben gymsessies die we nu krijgen met contacten met de Topsport Amsterdam, waar we nu gewoon faciliteiten ook kunnen gebruiken. En vroeger had je 1 coach voor 2 teams. Ja. Nu hebben we er 4, 5. Het is alleen maar een stijgende lijn vanaf hier.
Okay, so what we're going to do is just quickly go through your game. It's obviously not quickly, but we'll go through your game because it's an absolute cliffhanger. We'll just talk through it because it's 100 minutes live here on Hettersweer. Long night in Den Bosch.
We'll give you some time to get coffee.
More Guinness, More Guinness. But here we go. You guys start off obviously quite strong try. Just talk us through the game, gents, of obviously fantastic field.
That was Tommy, our Argentinian prop. He's pretty renowned for I mean, picking the ball up close to the ruck and driving over.
It looked like it was back and forth though. I mean, you guys were just, it was, I mean, you scored, they scored, you scored, they scored.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the last, the last 10 minutes or something, they were 10 or 12.
Yeah, because
12
they
up
also
on
had a
us.
kick to basically win it, hit the pole, and then you guys went the whole way and scored it.
De laatste 10 minuten, zoals George net zei, stonden we 12 of 10 punten achter.
Ja.
En de kopjes begonnen een beetje te hangen van oké, jongens, hij schiet er maar in. Want tot hun nummer 15 had tot nu toe alles geraakt. Dus hij kikte echt als een waanzinnige. En,
Johnny.
Hij kikt, Tjerk heet hij volgens mij.
Tjerk,
ja.
okay.
Dus hij raakte de paal en we vingen hem weer en iedereen flipte opeens weer aan. Van oké, dat kan nog. En we kwamen terug. Wonderwissel, Emerick kwam erin en tapt de bal snel. En 4 jongens willen hem gewoon niet aanraken. En hij rent er doorheen. Scoort de try en onze nummer 10 raamt hem doorheen voor de gelijkmaker.
Okay, yeah, and so and then obviously we just saw there the last try to win it. You know, that was also in the last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last play of the game, basically.
Yep. Yeah, we didn't realise that was the full time, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. But very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after the final whistle.
Het was nog eventjes spannend, want er was nog een klein akkefietje.
I could see there was a little bit of
We hadden ook een beeld gekregen met de mic'd up ref. Dus we hoorden precies wat er aan de hand was. En er was nog een klein akkefietje aan de hand na die try. En er was er nog een beetje geroezemoes over dat hij misschien afgekeurd zou worden. Maar dat was niet genoeg volgens de referee om de try niet goed te keuren. Dus ja.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of a fight in the background, but it had nothing to do with the play. So, okay. But right, so this means now next year you start off with the new season. Do you know much about the Era Classes setup for next year?
Not particularly.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a long season, guys.
Yeah,
Wijnand, I think both you retired, I'm out, so I'll see you on the golf course.
Yeah, you'll join. One thing.
I think it'll take me probably about 10 months to play a couple of rounds of golf these days.
I will sort you, I will sort you, man.
More in the bush than on the fairway, but yeah. So obviously it's a home and away competition, and then you're going to have a break from January till the end of March, I think it is.
Oh.
Well, it's not confirmed yet, but we've got the inside scoop. We know Wijnand. He's always got the inside scoop.
Yeah, but that's the thing about the Ereklasse. I've seen a lot of teams winning the Ereklasse and then coming into that winter stop, things just changed. Just look at Gooi this year. I would say the first half of the season Gooi was hanging on, and then after the winter stop it's like a new team. Dat is echt niet normaal wat bij Gooi gebeurt. De laatste 2 maanden. En nu zit je in die finale.
I think I can't take all the credit for that. No, definitely not. I think we're very fortunate with players coming back from other parts, other competitions, but also back from injury, also hitting form at the right time. But I think it's more about. I mean, obviously, like you know, it's going to be a lot more physical and fast. So, like, do you guys have anything special in the summer plan to, you know, are you doing anything different, or is it, you know?
I think we'll definitely start our pre-season earlier this year. We anticipate that from the coaches. We've also got some new coaching staff coming in as well.
Oh, nice. Tell us about that. Who have we got coming in? We love stories, yeah?
A man named Paul. He's from Australia. He played for AAC in 1999.
Paul.
1999.
Yeah, man. Paul's a legend of ours, yeah. So Paul's back from Bugs Rugby in Australia.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic news. That's great.
So
Paul Davey.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Welcome back, Paul.
So the last 8 years he's been coaching at 2 high schools, rugby schools in Brisbane, but he's making the move back to the Netherlands, and yeah, we're looking forward to having him. He did a couple of sessions with us late last year.
Yep.
But no, I think he's going to bring a lot of experience, and yeah, it'll be really good.
Yeah, fantastic. That's awesome. So any other additions, players or anything? Have you got ideas of, are you going shopping or?
We hebben een nieuwe recruitment afdeling erbij gecreëerd. En die zijn nu actief bezig om spelers een deal aan te bieden. We hebben ook een huizingplan. En we gaan kijken wat daaruit komt. We zijn achter de schermen keihard mee bezig. En tot nu toe kunnen we er nog niet heel veel over zeggen.
Okay, yeah, no, well, that's awesome to hear. It sounds like RSA, you guys are taking the step up seriously, and I think it's great for Dutch rugby that we have a club in Amsterdam back in the Ereklasse, because number one, it's not far for everyone to travel, except if you're from the Dukes.
Yeah, okay, if you're from Brabant, it's challenging. But just imagine everybody that plays outside of Amsterdam, they leave to go play in the Ereklasse, and now, there's a club in Amsterdam. So. And
it's based at the rugby headquarters, where you have some of the best facilities available to a club. So it looks you should be able to attract some nice players and coaches to come up. And you also have a women's team as well, RSA, very highly regarded as well. It's a complete club. I mean, you've got good youth coming through now. So it looks like things are back on track in Amsterdam, which is fantastic news.
Eindelijk.
Yeah, eindelijk. Well, guys, I think obviously from us here at Het Weer Ruk, we'd like to congratulate you and welcome you to the Ereklasse. I'm sure we'll see your faces on Het Weer Ruk a lot more. But yeah, from all of us here, congratulations. And,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to seeing a lot more of you. Wijnand, to wrap up the first part of the show, anything else you want to comment on?
Nou, het is een mooie jaar van de rugby geweest. Dit seizoen was echt, als je nu kijkt naar de teams in de finale, dit is echt een mooie promotieplaatje van Rugby Nederland dit jaar. Kijk, wij het ups en downs gehad, alle teams het ups en downs gehad. En ik moet zeggen, dit was wel een van de meest fascinerende seizoenen in mijn 10 jaar wat ik in Nederland is. En vooral kijk, dingen, spicy dingen, wat zoals bijvoorbeeld die Rotterdam scenario. Dat was ook iets leuks om te kijken hoe teams gebeuren. En ook teams wat van boven, daar was heel veel wisselingen. Zo, mooi seizoen van de rugby dit jaar.
Absolutely, and I think also if you look at just beneath the Ereklasse, the future class and the first class lived up to all the expectations with some fantastic rugby being played and some new initiatives. So I think, look at the future's bright. It's just long.
Ja, Gareth, en jij is heel veel met de jeugd betrokken of zo. Als je nu kijkt naar de future klasse, dat is voor jou als onder 20 coach, dat was voor jou eigenlijk ideaal geweest. Als je nu kijkt naar selectie en kijkt hoe spelers, hoe de groei van spelers.
Well, absolutely, but I also think if you look at some of the Ereklasse clubs, they're starting to play the younger players. And I think, it shouldn't be the younger players only playing in the first class or the future class. I mean, if I look at Ameland, I look at Gooi, look at HRC, CAS, there's a lot of teams playing a lot younger players coming through. I mean, some really talented players. And also players that are making the difference at this level, that are winning games against big teams. That's important. That's great to see. So, look, I think in that sense we've got a lot of good youth coming through. The student clubs seem to be a lot stronger than what they have been in the past. Well, maybe, I don't want to offend anyone, but I have that feeling. If I look at Rotterdam students, look at Utrecht students, some great performances there. Rotterdam students winning their first Ereklasse game this year. Which, I think, Giel, you didn't predict that either. Jammer. Echt. But to finish off, I think we have a little rumour. The neighbours of RSA, our scrum, apparently have also got new coaching staff.
Oh.
And I believe Michiel Snijders and Barrow, there's a rumour going around, and I'm well informed by someone on a Portuguese beach that it's happening, that they're the new coaching staff for Askram. So if that's true, you heard it here first on Het Weer Ruk. But also to them, obviously, congratulations to them, and hopefully we'll see them soon back in the Ereklasse. But for the first half of the show tonight, gents, once again, any final words from yourselves, should I say? No, happy?
No, all good.
Any statement about your club or the future? Any predictions you want to predict? Actually, let me ask you, who do you think is going to win? Let's start with the women's game. Women's final this weekend, Diok or Waterland? Not Waterland, sorry. Blue Babes.
Ik denk dat de Blue Babes hem...
Oh, you heard it from Wessel, Blue Babes all the way. George?
I got to follow suit, Blue Babes. I
Blue
don't know
Babes.
too well.
I like Diok.
Like
I'm gonna go Diok.
Okay.
Diok.
I'm not going to say anything because, I'll wait for the next part. But, and then, okay, Hera Finale, HRC, Gooi.
I give Gooi benefit of the doubt.
Well, Wessel, I hope you're not saying it just because I'm here. George?
I was going to guess Hoy as well.
Oh!
Yeah.
So there we go. They gave us a huge intake of their final. So we actually owe you. We definitely owe you a jug of beer for the amount of money that came over the bar during your game against Utrecht Studenten. I'll ask you a little bit later. about that, because I think we'll get into a discussion about that. So we've heard it here, Gooi and Blue Babes to do the business on the weekend. I can't argue with that. So for the first part of the show, we'll see you just now. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the second part of the last show of the season for 3hiwrps2ep19 2024, and wow, what a season it has been. The second part of the show, we're joined by Wijnand once again. Welcome back.
Thanks.
It's a long time since I haven't seen you. Do I have to go through all of that again?
No. I'm not going to cry again.
But obviously, Mitch McGahan, Wijnand head coach. Mitch, welcome.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
I see you still on Silly Sunday, or maybe?
Mad Monday.
Mad Monday.
Wicked Wednesday.
Wicked Wednesday.
Yeah. Has to be done.
There we go, man. I'm his cab driver tonight, so I'm looking after him. Oya, the OG Moy boy, definitely has scored a try that's got to be candidate for try of the season just for the finishing skills there. Don, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? Good?
Ja, goed natuurlijk. Zeker na afgelopen zaterdag. Ja, gewoon super excited om weer in de finale te staan. En ik kan niet wachten voor dit weekend sowieso. Ja, wat er ook gebeurt, wordt het gewoon echt denk ik een heel mooi weekend. En ja.
Oh, wow, what happened last weekend?
Ja, volgens mij gaan we er zo nog een beetje op in, maar...
It wasn't a serious question, though. There's Don, give me a serious answer. Well, the news today. Well, tonight what we're going to go through a little bit about, obviously, the two semi-finals played. Wijnand against Gooi in Amersfoort with Mitch and myself there, but then obviously the other game, HRC against Rotterdam in The Hague. Both interesting games, some interesting... talking points, some disallowed tries, but some interesting calls as well. I think also the try that Don scored, I think credit has to be given to Dan on the touchline. He was so well positioned. I think most guys wouldn't have the balls to call that.
Ja, dat was echt heel spannend dat ik denk, oh, die call wil ik niet maken. En als je kijkt, ik heb die replay over en over gekeken, dan denk ik, shit, dat is echt zo close. Maar ja.
Yeah, so eventful weekend. I think we'll start with the HRC Rotterdam game. You know, did we expect this result? I think.
Yeah, I think so. If you look, form guide, they probably had one win each in the second round. It was always going to be a high-scoring affair. I think you have a look at the natures of the two teams. So it was going to be an open affair for sure. HRC starting like a house on fire and jumping to a lead, but I remember coming off.
Oh, Ollie White, what a season he's in. And he has a controversial moment, I think, here. This is the try that was disallowed.
Yeah, this is it.
And for me, what do you guys think?
Yeah, for me, I can't see why it's been chalked off. It seems as though he's part of the ruck for sure, and it's well spotted and gone through. I think it was Will Maddox, isn't it?
Yeah, Maddox scores. That's harsh.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But I mean, at half time, I thought, depending on the wind, Rotterdam were going to throw caution to the wind and run it, and they were always going to come back into it and almost pulled it off.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got to be talking about Rotterdam's game management. I think, obviously semi-final, there's pressure, nerves, but I mean, you thought they sort of had it, and The Hague let it slip. Coming back into the game like they did, Maddox scoring there for Rotterdam.
Especially when they had the lead there.
But I mean, I must say, HRC's forwards have been a bit of a revelation this year. Everyone's talked about their backline, but Don, their forwards have sort of come to the party.
Ja, zeker. En ik denk dat dat ook wel hetgeen is waar ze natuurlijk de afgelopen jaar misschien net wat minder presteerden. Waar de backs natuurlijk, de backs van HRC zijn altijd, voor zolang als ik me kan herinneren, gewoon echt heel goed geweest. Maar zeker ook nu in de voorwaarts, je ziet net met de moltraai en dat de voorwaarts, de tweede moltraai overigens, uiteindelijk zijn de voorwaarts van HRC ook echt aan het domineren. Hier weer een goede lijn van de tweede rij van HRC. Victor met een kikkie, dat zou dus niet helemaal gewend zijn misschien.
Good football skills there.
Ja, zeker. Nou ja, maar en hier zie je dat 23-19 voor HRC.
Oh, dat was zo.
En hier maakt Rotterdam een geweldige break. En dit was volgens mij, de tijd staat er niet bij, maar volgens mij was dit echt 78e minuut of zo dat dit gebeurde.
Maddox again.
Ja, hele goede handjes hier natuurlijk van Rotterdam. Met nog een offload waar uiteindelijk een knock-on uitkomt.
Yeah, I mean, Rotterdam to get back in the game was fantastic. I mean, you know, when they open it up, I mean, when Maddox starts to hit these sort of skip passes, and this was the moment where they scored.
Ja.
And you think, okay, I think there's 3 minutes left?
Ja, volgens mij was het op het moment van de try ongeveer 78e minuut of iets dergelijks. Het was in ieder geval bijna klaar. En hier komt HRC door een goede penalty gewonnen hebben toch nog terug in de helft van de tegenstander en zo dicht bij de trylijn. Ja.
But I mean, penalty and then HRC, you know, obviously get a couple of penalties, get the line out, and then get into a sort of same way play, and was really fast, and Rotterdam just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, I think this is one area that they've massively improved on, as we've spoken about. Like their forward play's come a long way, and a lot of their tries this year, particularly against us, have come through the forwards. You know, they've really strengthened in that area. They've got a really good system that they work, and 5 metres out, they're pretty deadly, and they convert quite often. So it wasn't a surprise to see them go over there with 30 seconds left on the clock.
I mean, I think Ollie White's had a massive season for them there. Obviously, also one of the Kun brothers at 8 has had a big season. Victor at 2 has had a big season because he can also play in the third row if necessary. And I think, their scrumming, I mean, as you've seen in the last few games, has been really, really good.
I think, the tight head coming in has really, really helped them. I know he wasn't there at the start of the year, he kind of came in a little bit late. He's a strong boy, and they've been able to utilise his experience. And
then Jurian Jorna's had a good carrying sort of part of the season. I mean, he's made a big impact in that area.
Ja, ze spelen hem ook vaak op derde rij, zie ik. Dus hij is natuurlijk gewoon een grote jongen, dus op zich niet heel gek natuurlijk.
Yeah. I mean, if obviously in a nice tight game, I believe the pictures at HRC at the beginning were fantastic with all the flares, although...
Ja.
De
sfeer bij HRC is altijd geweldig. Ik kan me nog herinneren dat wij vorig jaar in de halve finale ook daar speelden. En het is natuurlijk zo'n grote club en ze krijgen toch elke keer voor elkaar om al die mensen ook naar die wedstrijden toe te krijgen. En de sfeer was geweldig en ik kijk er nu al naar uit. Ik denk dat het zaterdag...
I just hope they don't play that song live in the stadium, because I think that was, with all due respect, you're a great club, you play good rugby, but let's stay away from the hard house singing songs. Wijnand, it was one of your favourites, eh?
Yeah, it's
a bit like Uro Papa.
That's normally how they get you out of the game.
Yeah, well, they got in my head last year, but okay, so look, obviously well coached by Hadley. Hadley's done, it's the second year now that he's got this team into the final, this group of players. I mean, obviously, they're obviously not playing Aimland this year, but they will be obviously seeing themselves as favourites, I would think, going into this.
Yeah, I think so.
Goy hasn't beaten them this year.
I think they look at themselves as favourites as well. I think, probably similar to Hoy, they've had some key players come back at the right time of the season. Jordy Hop coming back is a massive factor. When he's just got that game-breaking ability. Yeah. If things are going a little bit sideways or you think they're drifting, all of a sudden he straightens it up and he's very dangerous. He's going to be one. Kai van Kampen back in at 10's been...
He's been a revelation. We've also got David Veersma then playing at 12. Who misses out this weekend? You've got Tyrone, you've got Case. This is the interesting thing. I mean, they've really got strength there. Huh?
And I think they'll lean on that experience and having been there before, only a year ago, that'll be a massive thing. But again, you look at the flip side with Hoy. Some big players have already played in some big area class finals over the years, but recently with the under-20s in finals, so it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Mitch, you mentioned there's been a revelation in the forwards. If you have to compare last year's finalists of Den Haag again with this year's finalists, do you think they improved a lot?
I think now they can handle. I was at the final last year, watching it, and they got picked apart in the scrum. That was a big difference. A front row with Delano, Ross, and Hugo just bullied them. out of the game. They're a lot stronger in that area now. I don't think teams can target them as much as they have in the past there. That being said, have they got the discipline to play a tight game, and are they conditioned to play a tight game for long periods of time is the question. They've got a natural ability to move the ball, and when you fatigue, you go back to what you know best, which is to move the ball. Can they stick it out? Because it is going to be a tactical battle, I think. On Saturday.
So unfortunately we don't have the stats of the game, because I think it would have been interesting to see, because it can, the Aimland Gooi game, there were some really interesting stats as we were talking on the way up here. I mean, if you look at defensively, we both teams made about over 100 tackles. Both teams missed 7 and 9 tackles. It was a massive game in that sense. Obviously, a lot of running straight, probably. Also, kicks, we were around about 40 kicks in the game. The Hague obviously also have shown, that defensively they can match it, but attacking-wise, they love to bring that speed into the game. It's going to be very interesting to see how Gooi can stop that. And especially with those wingers coming in and what have you. From set piece, they seem to get on the front foot very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, there's question. Obviously, with Siem and Jordi, they want to get those boys on the ball. It's going to be interesting to see how the referees police, obviously, the laws or the edict that's come in from World Rugby. They're very hot on some of these new laws and how they're interpreting them. The 5 metres that making sure.
You're talking about offsides on attack?
Well, yeah, but we saw it on Saturday. Pre-match, we were warned, that we were going to be hot on the offsides, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it caught our backline by surprise. Certainly, where the referees are saying and the ARs are saying, you're not back, and you're like, we're not on defence. It's our put in. So there's that there's that dynamic as well.
Yeah, that is interesting. Daan, obviously for you as a winger. What are you looking forward to about the game this weekend?
Ja, sowieso natuurlijk altijd leuk om tegen Jordi en Siem te spelen. Het zijn gewoon heel veel jongens bij HRC die ook gewoon vrienden van mij zijn. En dat, weet je, ik vind het altijd leuk om uiteindelijk zijn we 80 minuten aan het battelen en ongetwijfeld gaan we daarna gewoon een biertje met elkaar ook drinken. Ongetwijfeld, maakt niet uit wat voor score het is. Maar ja, weet je, ik denk dat dat gewoon heel leuk is. En er zijn genoeg jongens bij HRC waar het leuk is om tegen te spelen in ieder geval. En je wil altijd meten met de beste. En ik denk zeker met Siem en Jordi dat daar gewoon heel veel kwaliteit natuurlijk op de wing staat. Dus ja, daar heb ik heel veel zin in.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle for sure. I think if we go into the Aimland Gooi game now, if I get this right, there we go. Obviously scrums was a big thing for Aimland here. We start with a couple of the scrums here. Angles there, Mitch?
Something like that, yeah.
One thing Gooi did really well was line-out defense. I think they really did a great job in that.
Ja, we zitten hier ook al in de tweede helft, hè? Dus het was 0-0 met halftime, wat ook vrij bijzonder is natuurlijk. Uiteindelijk 3-0 door Vikas die de bal doorheen kikte. Maar we zitten hier al in de tweede helft en er staat nog steeds 0-3. Ja, wat natuurlijk, dat heb ik ook niet heel vaak denk ik meegemaakt.
This was a big moment in the game as well, holding them up over the line. I think, like you said, Shane probably could have pulled out of that because he was by himself. And set up another ruck.
Oh, here it is.
Oh, here it is. I mean, this is it. There's what's the difference between that ruck and the ruck we saw in Rotterdam?
Yeah.
And now, obviously, there you can see Mitch trying to get across, but here it is. And we'll see the Slovak. Robbie Kutsia way pushing past the ball there. Defensive error there. But there, Bam comes. Look at Daan. Look at the AR in position. I mean, that's an amazing finish, Daan. Well done, man. I think we should run up for well done, mate. And then this was Mitch. Hail Mary.
Something to get back in the game as soon as
you say it's planned, mate?
I saw a bit of space there. As soon as I kicked it, I thought, no, T's going to get back in. And thankfully he fell and Bam was able to poach something. So, yeah.
Ja, ook erg snel achter elkaar. Dus wij scoorden en meteen scoorde Aimland daarna weer. En de bounce of the rugbybal. Hè. Dus hij stuitte precies over mij en die terug in de handen van Bam. En hier zijn we heel dicht bij de tryline. Je ziet mensen wel juichen, maar helaas zijn we er nog niet. Met nog een paar fases. Mike Hansen die hier nu bij de ruk komt. En ja, heel dichtbij.
Oh, I think we cut that. Sorry, Ross. I didn't do anything. Eric must be in the building.
Nee, Mike Hansen die eigenlijk gewoon de bal 5 centimeter van de trijlijn. Het enige wat hij doet is gewoon de bal oppakken en hem even op de lijn drukken. Dus ja, en uiteindelijk is dat de matchwinner.
No, unfortunately, we don't have the last bit. There was a penalty to kick for points, and then the finish with Wijnand almost scoring at the end there. But, it was a cracker of a game. I mean, if you think about it, 0-0 at half time, most people think, oh, this must be a boring game. But I must say, standing on the sideline, it was everything but boring.
No, I think it was a real tactical battle. Neither side were willing to give an inch. You could see that the game plans were quite clear on both sides. Staying in that kick battle for as long as you can, not wanting to concede territory too easily. Especially from our side, knowing that Vickers can kick them from 50. You don't want to be giving away penalties inside your own half and messing around with it too much. So making sure you're getting down the field, and I'm sure for you guys as well, not wanting to give us a chance to build a maul inside the 22. You're thinking, right, let's see how much we can play. But second half, I think the key part from our point was that first 15 minutes we kind of camped on your inside the 22 there, had a number of opportunities and didn't take them, and we were punished for that. In the end, that was Shane being held up, the kind of the defining.
Yeah, so moment. At the end of the day, obviously, Wijnand went as clinical as they have been as in part of the past season, or the earlier part of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be quite tough as a coach, that you've seen the progression throughout the year, and then you know, at the semi-final, you guys didn't really come to the party.
Yeah.
Do you put it down to anything, or are you still...
No, look, I think it's just one of those things that happen. A number of people have maybe commented and say, this is probably why semi-finals. No, this is exactly why you want semi-finals. You want to see how people and players deal with that pressure, particularly young Dutch players with where the Dutch team are currently and looking to push through to World Cups and World Cup qualifying. They're going to get situations like that. How do they deal with it? And the only way they can do that is getting that experience within our own domestic competition. Yeah, of course, we would have loved to have been playing this weekend in Amsterdam. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Is that you're on the day, you have to execute, and fair play to Hoy. Took their opportunities and made us pay.
Absolutely, but so, you know, Wijnand, anything to comment about?
Oh, that was what a response. I think dat somt de competitie op. En precies wat hij zei, dat maakt wegen open voor hoe jij verder wil gaan in Nederlandse rugby. En een goede antwoord.
No, for sure. I think that's what we want. We want to create those pressure situations. The players love it as well. I mean, you sort of you build up to these sort of moments of playing in, and also the weather played ball. I mean, everyone wants to play in that sort of weather where it's dry and sunny, the beer's flowing, the atmosphere's going. Also, a great DJ at Wijnand, I must say. He was banging some nice old school tunes there, which was always good at half time when you're trying to speak and you hear me show me love and you just better give it. Yeah, but obviously now moving on to this weekend, we've seen both teams, you know, throughout the year. You know, like what are the expectations this weekend for you, Wijnand? In terms, you don't have to give me a prediction. I'm talking more about what do you think you're going to see?
Nou, dat is echt heel veel zin voor de wedstrijd. Ik zal niet zeggen, je blust 4 met 4 niet. Gooi is ook een team wat heel veel running rugby speelt, maar het is niet hele identiteit niet. Waar ik meer denk, running rugby is meer Haarlemse identiteit. Waar de twee teams complementeren elkaar in één manier, maar ja, ik ben echt benieuwd hoe het gaan uitloopt.
Yeah. And where do you think the strengths, if you look at both teams, what would you say? Okay, this is that strength, that's that strength, and this if they get this right.
Ja, ik zou zeggen, daarna gaat heel wat in de backline. Ik zal niet zeggen gevaarlijkste niet, maar de backline is best wel een agility team. Waar ik meer zie, waar Gooi de line speed en defense. Gooi, hoeveel punten per wedstrijd heb je afgestaan de laatste paar wedstrijden?
No, I mean averaging 13 per game now.
Precies, en ik denk Gooi het een van de beste line-out defense. Want ik denk dit is de reden, ook een van de redenen hoe we dit afgelopen weekend gewonnen hebben. De line-out van Wijnand was constant onder druk geweest. En ik ken natuurlijk Jim en die team. Ja, zo'n goede line-out specialist team. En ook natuurlijk met de line speed. Het wordt wel mooi. Ik denk het is een mooie, interessante wedstrijd.
Mitch, what's your sort of
I think it's going to be an interesting tactical battle. I'm sure you've got something up your sleeve. I'm sure Hadley's got something up his sleeve as well. So as much as it'll be a tactical battle on the field, I'm sure the decisions on bench and the influence of both benches and how they come and play a part, I think it'll be relatively tight. If you have a look at all three of your games this year, I don't think either team scored over 15 points. Whoever wins that kick battle, and Vickers having the ability even into the wind in Amsterdam to kick at 50, will be an interesting one between him, Kai and David on how that balances out.
Is Don's younger brother, the younger mooi boy?
Ja, nee, ja, kijk, dat maakt natuurlijk wel een groot verschil ten opzichte van het begin van het seizoen. We hebben uiteindelijk bijna het hele seizoen zonder nummer 10 gespeeld, wat toch wel, denk ik, de belangrijkste positie is in het veld. En Vickers heeft natuurlijk een geweldig seizoen gehad. Eerst in Cardiff met onder 20 kampioen geworden. En ja, ik weet zeker dat hij er ook op is gebrand om deze te gaan pakken. Wat een geweldig seizoen zou hij dan zeker al hebben, wat hij nu natuurlijk ook al heeft. Maar goed, ja, daarna staat hij natuurlijk tegen Kai van Kampen, die denk ik ook een geweldig seizoen heeft gedraaid nadat hij terug is gekomen naar HRC. David Weers misschien zelfs wel. Ja, ik weet natuurlijk ook niet hoe zij in de backline gaan spelen, maar er zit echt wel veel kicking bij beide teams, denk ik, in. Weet je, en dus dat wordt heel spannend.
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to a drop goal. Mitch, you called it in the car on the way over.
Yeah, I think it will. Vickers was telling me last week he was practicing them in the lead up to the game.
Didn't go well.
It didn't go well, so he was glad it didn't come down to a drop goal near the end.
I mean, we tried it a few times and we were just like, nah.
But look,
I should score.
No, I think yeah, it's whoever has the big game player who's got the bottle to step up, and both, you know, we know both Vickers and David can do it. We've seen it numerous occasions throughout their careers. Okay, Vickers is a very young career so far, but yeah, it'll be who steps up on the day and who's got.
Well, I mean, as you say, Hadley probably has something up his sleeve where he's going to, you know, show a few things, which I think, yeah, I definitely think the thing with HRC is they have a lot more. There's a lot more unexpected about them. There's something that, you know, I think not as probably, and predictable is probably not the right word for other teams in the comp, but...
Ze hebben natuurlijk spelers die gewoon uit het niks een linebreak kunnen maken. En,
zoals een Jordi Hoop of een Kai van Kampen.
Jordi, Siem, Kai, weet je, allemaal als spelers die natuurlijk in één keer uit het niks een break kunnen maken. Wat natuurlijk... ja, weet je, uiteindelijk gaat het om wie de meeste punten scoort tegen de tegenstander. En daardoor zal het denk ik heel spannend gaan zijn.
Exactly. So I think we've come to that time of the show now where it's, you know, it's time to call it in the sense of, you know, gents, if you had to put your money where your mouth is, I don't think I have to ask you.
Nee.
If you have to put your money where your mouth is, who would you be going for this weekend? And why?
Gewoon het gooien bus met supporters.
Ja.
En dan, ja, de Blue Army is wel iets factor. Als ik moet echt kiezen, ik denk gooi. De laatste 2 maanden het echt heel veel goede dingen gebeuren.
So, okay, Mitch?
Hollywood scriptwriters have been out and looking to give someone a fairy tale finish for his efforts across the years in the Eder class. So, look, as I said, I think it's going to be relatively tight. I think I probably lean towards Hoy, that momentum and everything with them. I think it's now 6 on the trot, undefeated. You're talking about potential game breakers. Obviously, we've mentioned the kickers and things like that, and Daan's mentioned him, but we seem to be forgetting the magic. Kuberg, T. Campbell,
Daan.
You know, Daan having the ability to pull something out and score, finish tries. You know, so yeah, it's going to be tight. I expect it to be a tight, low-scoring kind of game. So I think it'll come down to a kick. I still don't know whether it's Vickers with the winning kick or if it's David with the winning kick.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I think I tend to go towards Hoy.
Okay, well, I still think HRC are the favourites. I think if you look, we haven't managed to beat them this season, and I think rightfully so. They've deserved the victories. But I do think there's some big-name players playing this weekend. International players. You look at Chris Raymond, you look at Ollie White, and you've mentioned all the backline players. But you know, I think. There's some definitely. Luke Randall's having probably the season of his as a prop. I mean, he's just unbelievable.
What a
player.
talent! Yeah.
Unbelievable player. Mikey Hansen, Chop City.
Ja, Mike
averaging
Hans,
20, 24 tackles a game. It's just you got youngsters like Tom Bockelman, Max van Hilst.
Zeker ook Mike natuurlijk ook naar Cardiff gegaan. Begonnen in het 4e team. Uiteindelijk van het 4e team naar het 3e team. Van het 3e team naar het 2e team.
Nou,
uiteindelijk in het 2e team in een wedstrijd 34 tackles gemaakt. En en de captain van het eerste team uit het eerste team gegooid. Dus weet je, ja, dat zijn wel laatst ook in de wedstrijd van ons 30 tackles. Yeah. Ja, dan weet je, zoveel maak ik er nog niet eens in een heel seizoen. Dus ja.
And also, I think big shout out to the Tight 5 boys. That I think there's going to be some interesting mauling, interesting scrums. It's going to be a cracker of a day in Amsterdam. If you haven't got your tickets yet, make sure you get them because I believe they're selling fast. I think we're selling somewhere around 3,000 tickets already sold, somewhere around that. Which is not bad for a day out in Amsterdam. Yeah. But obviously there's also the ladies final, Blue Babes against Diok. Interesting there as well because the Blue Babes beat Diok in the last game. But Daan's got a special place for Diok in his heart there with the ladies there, had Daan.
Backing Diok in that one.
Backing Diok there. Mitch, who are you going for on the ladies?
Sam's back training, waiting for a John Terry moment to lift that cup, I think.
Oh.
So it'll be a tight one. I think it'll be tighter than probably the last game. Probably go towards Diok.
You're going to go Diok? Okay, so we've got 2 Blue Babes and we've got 2 Dioks.
I'm going Diok.
You've already said Diok?
Yeah, I already said Diok.
Okay, so Diok to take it then. 3 Diok against 2 Blue Babes.
You abstaining?
Yeah, no, I'm going to abstain. I'm going to abstain from all voting this week. But yeah, look, I think it's going to be a special day for them as well. Make sure you get down there. It's going to be good weather, so it should be fun. Now, obviously, the predictions for the men's game is there. It's going to be a humding of a game. It's been a humding of a season. Highlights for you, gents, quickly, before we close off. Wijnand, you just love rugby.
Yeah, highlights. Yeah, looking back at Dutch rugby and how it's grown especially last year with the Future Classic coming in and the talent that comes out of it. It's really cool to see something.
So the
like
Future Class for you is a highlight, great. Eric will be very happy. Political answer there. Yeah. Mitch, highlights for you, mate?
Great to be back involved in Dutch rugby this year. Probably stealing from you as well. Our Future's winning the Future Class.
Yeah, winning the inaugural Future Class. Yeah. Congratulations to you, mate. Well done.
So no, it was that was pretty special. Maybe some omens in there. We came from 4th as well to win it, so that might
work
well for you boys. So yeah, no, but yeah, just really glad to be back involved in Dutch rugby.
Great, man. En Daantje, highlights voor je?
Ja, vierde worden en toch de finale halen. Dat is natuurlijk toch waardoor je... Ja, semifinals, weet je, dat maakt het gewoon spannend. En je moet gewoon die top 4 halen en vanaf dan kan alles gebeuren. En ik denk dat dat nu alweer is bewezen. En ik vind het ook echt goed, omdat je dan nog steeds alles hebt om voor te spelen. Dus ja, de highlight wordt natuurlijk hopelijk komende zaterdag. Dus,
that's the highlight feels, obviously, maybe. And I think we can't go without a show. Gil, prediction?
For the finals?
No, for the 3rd, 4th playoff.
Ik merk het ook aan jou en Daan dat Gooi echt in flow zit.
Please say HRC.
Ik vind dat Haagse, ik snap wel dat je die ook benoemt als favoriet. Maar ik vind het eigenlijk wel te close to call. Ik vind ook de verrassing van Gooi echt in Engeland, dat die uitgestakt hebben, echt heel groot.
I'm going to have to make you give me an answer.
Het wordt een hele erge finale met een hele close wedstrijd.
Okay, too close to call for Gil. Too close to call. So we'll say extra time, drop goal will win it. Don't know who, but it'll happen. And we can take from RSA that it might be a long day in Amsterdam. But if you haven't got your tickets, make sure. For me, the highlights have been obviously joining 3hiwrps2ep19, which has been fantastic. I think everyone here at 3hiwrps2ep19, thank you so much for a wonderful job, wonderful season. But then also the under-20 European Championship, I think, was fantastic, being able to play in the Junior World Trophy. And then obviously, last but not least, finishing with Rugby Club at Gooi. Hopefully it will be, anyway, it's going to be a great day on Saturday to be part of such a great competition and great club. But ladies and gents, from everyone here at 3hiwrps2ep19 for the last episode of season 2024, thank you so much. Houdoe and bye-bye. Yes.